as of late. And I think they had a home loss mixed in there. Yeah, home loss to South Carolina by 3. Also playing very close games. They've covered 6 of the last 7 games. The one they didn't cover was that they won but just didn't cover. But in their losses, you see a lot of covers. So, especially on the road. 9.5 seems a little too much for me. I do think if anything, this is probably the game that Texas A&M bounces back. I don't believe they played yet. Yeah, they haven't played. But I just think this is probably the one where Texas A&M could bounce back. I just don't think you want to lay a number with a team that has been playing some, 2-3 point games against another team that has been playing close games. Maybe if Texas A&M was rolling here, I would think about it, but it really just comes down to the fact that neither team are getting blown out, and neither team are blowing anybody out at this point. I would say Texas A&M is the better team, obviously, but we'll see. I mean, they're sliding in the wrong direction. Like I said, 4 losses. They lost 5 out of the last 6. They won I think they won their first 7 conference games, and now, I think they went from first place to 4th place. Luckily, they got guys losing ahead of them too, so they're not falling too much off of pace, but, we'll see. We'll see. I think this is a lot closer than people might think, and I really like taking the 9.5 here. I just think it's entirely too many points. Entirely. But, who knows? They could come out and look great. But like I said, Ole Miss has played better competition and worse. I mean, they haven't, and come out on top. The home team in this series have won all 4 games since both teams have been in the SEC. One was a 10-point, one was an 11-point, one was a 9-point, one was a 2-point. So, again, nothing over 11. I'll take the 9.5. I'm going to wait on it. I think I might even be able to get it up to 10 at some point here. We shall see. What's up, Songski? You're the only one strolling around in the chat box today. You guys hit me up in the chat box. I'm going to have some questions, some opinions, a couple baseball questions at the end, and I want to see what your opinions, what you guys' opinion are. Maybe on some trade. First trade rumor. Well, not trade, but in the NBA. Right? Would you like to see, and I don't think it'll happen this year, but next year, would you like to see Durant go to Golden State? Would you like that as a fan, or would you just be pretty sick of the fact that they're probably going to win 5 straight championships? Is that something that the league could veto? They can. They have the power to. I mean, if you guys remember, they vetoed the Chris Paul trade. That never happened because the league stepped in. But because this is the point, when I say trade, I think the only way he goes there is in a signing trade because he can make more money with a sign and trade. So it would be something where Golden State gives up a little something, but just so Golden State gets something back. I mean, you know what I mean. Who gets something back. So, let me know. What do you guys think? Would you like to see that, or would you rather see more parity in the league and have him stay in put? And also, if you get another game you want me to go over, just let me know and we'll go over it. As far as client plays today, games that we're going to avoid right off the top. The West Virginia-Texas. Don't ask me about that game, although there is some storylines in there. And then also, don't ask me about the Valpo and the Valpo game. Don't ask me about the Valpo. Don't ask me about the Texas-West Virginia game. And that'll be that. Interesting one. This is an interesting one. Creighton going into Butler tonight. Both teams playing Xavier recently. Creighton beat them at home. Creighton was, after that win, one of the last 4 out when it comes to the tournament. And then, when it comes to Butler here, Butler's sort of making a little surge. They got clipped a little bit by Xavier a few games ago. But if you guys don't know, I mean, Creighton was just expected to finish in the bottom of this league, What the coach has done over there has been pretty good. He's a few years ahead of schedule. You look at them, they were slumping in the midseason. They've won 3 straight after beating Marquette on the road Saturday. They have a chance, of sweeping the season series against Butler. They won 72-64 in January, but it won't be easy on the road. Butler squad that is licking its wounds, like I said, after an absolute throttling by my boys, 74-57. Creighton, 33rd highest scoring team in the nation. Defense playing better during this winning streak, giving up 66 or fewer points in those 3 contests. The win over Marquette, Creighton's first this season by less than 8 points. Okay, so all those, think about that. It was their first win this year by less than 8 points. So, I look at this one and I like taking the points. I think Creighton has a good chance to win this game outright. I think what Butler has done as far as getting a few wins recently, but, Georgetown, they're not anybody. They're really not. St. John's, they suck. To go into Seton Hall, that win was pretty good. That win was pretty impressive. But then they got throttled by Xavier. Anytime they step up to anything in competition, their only other wins in conference as far as Butler was St. John's twice, that Georgetown game, DePaul. The bottom feeders in the league, DePaul again. So 2 bottom teams in the league you beat twice for 4 out of your 6 wins. They're not a great team. Give me 5.5. I'll take Creighton to shoot the lights out tonight all day. When they get hot, they get hot. Let's face it. They went through a streak there where they lost at Georgetown. That was a tough one. They lost a 1-point game there. They lost to Seton Hall, and then they got blown out by Nova. But, big win against Xavier and a great Marquette team. I like Creighton plus the 5.5 here. That will be another strong free play. So that one, between that one and the Ole Miss, I like. And then obviously we got the Rutgers under and the Davidson also. The only other ones I was looking at was the South Carolina one. The line's 7.5 on the road. Yes, it is a bad team, but maybe if you wanted to tease like South Carolina down to 2, and I don't know, any one of these ones, Creighton up to 10.5 or something, something like that, wouldn't be bad either if you wanted to do something like that. The other game I was looking at and I couldn't really finalize it was the Southern Alabama Troy. I really liked Southern Alabama at first glance, but I just can't do it. I can't back them. Some games, sure, some games should win, but at the same time, some teams I just don't want to back. And yeah, they're at home and they're playing a terrible Troy team. I get it, but sometimes you just don't want to back a bad team. So I'll leave it at that. What's going on? Let's see. I just meant to do something. Give me 1 second, guys. So that's that. Let's get into some little NHL tonight. Little NHL. What do I got? I actually got 2 client plays. Yeah, 2 client plays in the NHL tonight. So not really going to talk about those, but we could still, buzz through them a little bit. I'm a little more freely with my NHL stuff as of late. So let me just get this off. So let's do that. Like I said, yesterday, pretty good day. Let me pull up these lines here. Which one do we go to first? Well, I'll tell you this. The first one on the docket, you got the Kings going into Washington. Washington, since the All-Star break or the second half of the season, every game has gone over. They're just coming off of a good win streak where they just lost to Dallas. I'm always sort of a big proponent of betting against a team that's coming off a long win streak. I'm also a big proponent of teams that are coming home for the first game of a homestand after a road trip. It wasn't a long road trip, but they just were out for 3, sandwiched in there It was really like 4 out of 5. It's tough in the Metropolitan because they'll play home away, home away, home away. They all play next to each other. But you look at this Washington team coming home, off the road, is where they've sort of got clipped. They went on a couple game road trip, came back, played Calgary. It was the second night of a back-to-back. They got clipped there. Other than that, I mean, they just constantly win, so it's tough to find any spot that's bad for them. But the side, wasn't really what I was looking at. The total is 5.5, so, if anything, I was leaning the over. But the more you dig into it, and I get it, Washington's got better, and LA is still LA, but LA's owned the series. They've won 8 of the 10, 8-1-1 overall. I wouldn't be surprised if the Kings clipped them tonight. Bruins in Columbus. If I was going to bet this one, Bruins still on the road, playing tough. They play good on the road. Rask in net, but I'd probably lean Boston team total in that one. Flyers going into New Jersey. Here's an interesting one here. New Jersey's, the Flyers were playing great for a while there. Not so much anymore. They lost 4 of the last 5. New Jersey comes in, win 3 in a row. They haven't let up more than 1 goal in those 3 games against Edmonton. This same Philly team, where they won 2-1 and outshot them pretty. No, they got outshot. I'm sorry. They got outshot. They win 2-1. Overall, New Jersey 7-1-2 in their last 10 against Philly. And you get the best defense in the league in New Jersey going up against the 27th best scoring team. The Philly might get the shots, and it's evident of the last few times they played. Philly did clip them early in January, but it was with the backup goalie. I like New Jersey in this one. The line's sort of going up now, but at minus 125, it's a great value there. I like New Jersey. Buffalo against Ottawa. Jesus. This is a matchup that's always ugly. They play a lot, obviously. Last time they played, Buffalo actually won 3-2. But you look at Ottawa 7-1, 0-2 in the last 10 against Buffalo, and the under is 8-2. This Buffalo team is really hit or miss. They've won a couple in a row. Will they win 3 in a row? I don't know. But Ottawa, they've lost 3 in a row. If I was going to bet anything here, I would take Buffalo team total under, actually. That's where I would rock and roll on that one. Then we got a client playing the San Jose Tampa Bay game, and we got a client playing the Anaheim Edmonton Oiler game. The Dallas St. Louis game is one game that I didn't really I didn't touch there. I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas gets clipped. Second night of a back-to-back. Dallas isn't the healthiest team in the world. I don't know if there's going to be any healthy scratches closer to the game or if that information's already out and I just haven't seen it because I'm not betting it. I'm really don't have my ear to the ground about it, but I would be careful with that one, really. So that would be that. So I would say Buffalo team total under 2.5 and the New Jersey money line. Let's put it that way. I guess, you know what, I'll give up a client play here on the Anaheim Edmonton game. Anaheim coming in after a pretty impressive win last night against Calgary, 6-4. Game wasn't really even that close. Edmonton, limping in. They've scored 4 out of the last 5 games. They've only got 1 goal. A few weeks ago they were scoring though. They had a little since the All-Star break. They got a couple guys back and sort of injected some life into the offense, but now it's just the same old. And I mentioned it yesterday with this Anaheim team. They got out of the gate real slow, and I'm not even the gate. Wow, Hugh Kang's going to go to third base for Pittsburgh, huh? That's interesting. Anaheim surging now. I think they're only 4 points out of first place in the division. On a 16-4-2 stretch, and they didn't get rid of since the Christmas break. That's where they're at. They didn't get rid of their coach, like I mentioned. They stuck with it. Team's playing loose. They're playing good. Got a lot